Hello and welcome once again to another Heart to Heart Talk with me. I'm John Kuert, the interim pastor at Alpha Assembly in Clarion, Pennsylvania. Thanks for joining me once again at the beginning of another week, and I hope that as we wind down here this week and then on into next week for Thanksgiving, that you will be having some great days and being reminded of all the blessings that you have. You know, from time to time, we have at our church young men from Teen Challenge who have been saved out of a life of drugs and alcohol and different things like that, different habits. And it always makes me think, there, but for the grace of God, go I. And it always brings to me the realization that it took just as much grace to save me as it did to save any of those guys. You see, we're all sinners. We're stuck in the miry clay. We have no way out, no way of pulling ourselves up by our own bootstraps, no way to change the direction that we are heading in, which is hell. And that's why grace should always make us say, wow. Wonder of wonders. Wow. I often wonder if we truly understand grace or the magnitude of grace. It's been defined in a number of ways. Perhaps the most familiar is that grace is unmerited favor or undeserved kindness. Someone has said grace is everything for nothing to those who don't deserve anything. Let me say that again. You might want to write it down. It's pretty good. Grace is everything for nothing to those who don't deserve anything. It's the reality of God's love coming to us free of charge, no strings attached, absolutely unconditional. But I don't think we really grasp that. I still struggle to get my head around it completely. And I think part of the reason for that is the legalistic emphasis I grew up with in church. You know, when I was a kid, in the church that I grew up in, when you got saved, there was a long list of no-nos that you had to conform to. And if you didn't, well, you just couldn't possibly be a Christian. It was a list of works tagged on to the free gift of salvation. God's grace isn't like that. It's absolutely unconditionally free, no strings attached. But never forget, even though free, it isn't cheap. God's grace toward us involved the tremendous sacrifice of Jesus on the cross. You know, one time during a British conference on comparative religions, experts from around the world were debating if there was any belief that was unique to the Christian faith. And they began eliminating possibilities. Well, the incarnation. Well, other religions had different versions of God appearing in human form. Or the resurrection. Again, other religions had accounts of return from death. And the debate went on for some time until C.S. Lewis wandered into the room. "What's the commotion all about?" he asked, and heard in reply that his colleagues were discussing Christianity's unique contribution among world religions. Lewis responded, "Oh, that's easy. It's grace. God's grace. It is something that we should be thankful for, not just at Thanksgiving time, but around the world. Grace. I don't think we really get a hold of it. Bono, the lead singer of the band U2, said in an interview with a man, "The most powerful idea that's entered the world in the last few thousand years, the idea of grace, is the reason I would like to become a Christian." I don't know if he is or not, but at any rate, that's what he said. And Ephesians 2 It highlights the grace of God so perfectly. Once you were dead because of your disobedience and your many sins, you used to live in sin, just like the rest of the world, obeying the devil, the commander of the powers in the unseen world. He's the spirit at work in the hearts of those who refuse to obey God. But God, who is so rich in mercy and loved us so much that he, even though we were dead because of our sins, gave us life when he raised Christ from the dead. By grace you're saved, not of works. By grace you're saved through faith, not of works, lest any man should boast. So grace, I mentioned this morning in my message the difference between mercy and grace. Mercy is God doesn't give us what we deserve. He's merciful. He's a merciful God. I'm thankful for that. But grace is he gives us what we don't deserve. And he gives it freely, over and over and over again. There's no strings attached. I don't think really I grasp it fully. But I keep trying because it is an amazing truth. And I hope God's grace has touched your heart and reached your life and those of your family. If not, think about it. And if it has, just revel in it. Well, thanks for joining me again, and God bless you. Have a great week this week leading up to, next week is Thanksgiving week, but at any rate, God bless you. Hope we'll see you again soon, sometime soon, at the church or wherever. God bless. Bye-bye.